Hi, everyone. Good afternoon from Vienna. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Making It in Austria. I'm your host, Adela Mehijanic, and today you have an exclusive interview with Katarina Stanisavljevic. Katarina, welcome to our channel.
Thank you very much, Adela. It's really a pleasure to talk to you today.
I
To
say
be your guest.
exclusive because our Katarina and I, we are a part of the very executive academy of the Female Leaders Network. She's been there from the very first day, great supporter and empower of all of us. And yeah, has an amazing story, and you cannot find much about about Katarina online. So it's a great pleasure to have you and to finally hear your story. So Katarina, welcome. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you very much, Adela. As said, it's always pleasure talking to you and always inspiring. And then thank you for having me as your guest. I think everybody who knows me knows that I'm a passionate marketeer. I'm currently managing director of Carat. It's a communication consulting company, international network. And I'm also dedicated to lifelong learning, very excited about learning just about anything from diving, cooking, and also I'm a proud alumna of the Executive Academy. Part of my story that is very much related to the topic of your channel is that, I have been also living in 4 countries. And I have been born in Belgrade, Serbia. And my first travel or journey to another country was not of my choice. When I was 7 years old, we have moved as a family to Moscow, as my father was representing his company there. And, I would have to say that was a bit of a scary, but one of the best experiences in my life. So basically, I started first grade without speaking a word of Russian language. And as you can imagine, it was kind of a journey. So I've spent my days and nights of learning Russian, learning various songs completely from scratch, not understanding even a single word. But, I think this all experience has empowered me a lot because, basically in half a year, I spoke fluently Russian to the point that teachers were asking me, why do I have such a strange last name? Because, they did not even assume that I was a foreigner. And also, of course, I have made a lot of friends and the whole experience has become very much joyful. I have to say, in such a young age, going through a challenging situation, which, as you can imagine, I think starting school with a lot of new responsibilities it's a new thing for any child. Being in a situation that you don't even speak a language is, of course, on another level. And also, this experience has, built all my, I would say, attitude to work. And, I'm kind of known for being very hardworking, but I cannot compare it to any of the experience now to my first year in Moscow. Of course, I had the great support of my mom and my dad and my family, who always taught me, just be confident of who you are and always being there to support me. And my mom learning the songs with me by heart, even though she also didn't know the language. So yeah, the support in this kind of changes and in this kind of situation is very important. But also this experience has kind of inspired me to always be hungry for changes and for learning new things. And also interestingly, when we have come back to Belgrade after 4 years of living in Russia, I was also not fitting in 100% to the environment. So I had to repatriate myself because me and my sister, we were like Moscow girls or Russian girls. So again, they're fitting in. And another learning was there. It's actually fine to be yourself. You don't need to fit in 100%. You should actually stay your wonderful self and try to find the environments where, actually that's kind of a benefit. And building on that, I've also, so now it was my will and my ambition. I've also spent a year in the United States in Florida as part of an exchange student program. Which was also a wonderful experience. And I have to say, if I think of it, who am I today as a person? I can kind of give gratitude to all of my experiences living in different countries. And what I've learned in US is definitely, I got this can-do spirit and also being very open to any kind of change. So to give you an example, Michael, He was my host dad. Initially, he studied to be an engineer. And then, at some point he realized, well, I would actually like to be a dentist. So he has, he was selling some medical equipment to finance his studies. And then, he was proud and he became a dentist and was very successful at it until the rest of his life. And these kind of stories, which were at the time, me growing up, not very, common for Europe in general, have inspired me and gave me kind of confidence that it's fine. You should just be happy, and it's fine to change your path and to change your career. And that was reinvent yourself. And that was very much empowering. And this optimism and this kind of a little bit more light approach to life was something that I brought from my experience in United States. Then I moved back to Serbia. I kind of stumbled upon my dream job. I'm not joking. This was a pure coincidence. A neighbor running into my building into me and asking me to join a little training at Saatchi & Saatchi. That was #1 and the first big international advertising agency in Serbia. And it was just, I have to say, pure luck. I had known nothing about this kind of business. I was studying psychology at the time. And, it was a mixture of actually everything that interests me. It was about people, understanding people, about numbers. And, the culture was just amazing. I mean, imagine you're 20 years old, you're within the environment. This is kind of a job where everybody is young and very creative and easygoing. And I would not even, I could not even imagine that something like that exists. And I think my enthusiasm also has translated in, doing all the tests well. And I got a job after, a few days after this training, not even, thinking about getting a job. And this is one of the good decisions. I always think, it kind of takes luck, but also takes, good decision making. And that was a good decision to actually take this opportunity. So I was studying and working at the same time. But, I have always kind of enjoyed being in this industry ever since, because it's very dynamic, and also you can get to know amazing people and work on a very different things, even though you're in the same company or in the same industry. But also, this was also very international, I would have to say, environment for being in Serbia at the time. So we did work a lot across the cultures, and also somehow in my career, I was the one that would get a project, to coordinate 15 markets, or was, just sent by my boss to Albania with Macedonian team to pitch for a client. And then, just, whatever that was the situation that kind of needed a urgent intercultural leadership, I was the first candidate on the list, and I enjoyed it a lot. And then at some point, I have to say, everything was doing fine, and even too fine. I mean, it became a bit boring, I have to say. So a couple of years in a row, after like a projects would get feedback that, we were the best, and even without putting a lot of effort. So just by, doing the things and without any kind of stretch, you would be great. And that was uncomfortable situation for me and a bit boring one. So I decided, okay, I definitely have to do something about it. Doing an MBA was on my list, I have to be honest. And then I was considering the different options, different schools. And Vienna actually won because of the VU Executive Academy. And this is a true story. I mean, obviously, I also had an opportunity to join our team here in Austria. And I had the great support of my boss at the time, who was also my mentor. But, after guest module at the VU with Professor Stahl, and then, great, you will remember also, Adela, I guess, great model on leadership. And just being with different people, we were 25 nations, talking openly about different challenges that we could all recognize, like this famous Keller case that you can remember. I thought, oh my God, I really want to have 50 days of my life like that. The 50 days was basically the whole MBA. And that's why Vienna won. And that's why, I basically moved to Vienna. And I moved mid of August 2015, started my job, my new job here, my new role. And then basically in September, we have started with the MBA program. So that was kind of a motivation behind. And yeah, I mean, I have to say it was a very dynamic and very nice experience ever since.
I remembered stumbled upon dream job. So I I need to create a note aside. But what I liked, you said you stumbled upon the dream job and then you took the opportunity, you opened the door, you opened the door and it didn't stop it. Basically, even though if you stumbled and it was a pure luck, you put yourself 100% in and you made the best out of it.
No, I think we have to do that, because I also, and my personal experience of my friends reading, you know that it's not always just hard work, to be honest. I mean, it's also luck, because you have people who are working so hard, and sometimes, this break never comes. But also, it's very much also you need to deliberately take the chance when it's there. And just from my own, experience, a year after me getting this job, we had the internship in such and such, and we had 600 applicants for the job I got. So, don't get me wrong, I'm quite good. I know I'm confident, but I mean, out of 600 people, and we had a chess champion, we had people with like finishing law school in 3 years. I mean, they're impressive. I think I would have been against the hard competition. I mean, my passion for the job definitely stinks out, but like amazing people. So I think that was really a lucky chance, and I have to say I took it, and I never regretted it.
Awesome. Katarina, tell us a little bit about your role at the moment. So
Yes.
you do
So I'm managing director of Carat Austria. As said, it's part of the communication consulting network. So Carat is part of Dentsu, and it's a mixture of consulting of our clients, on media and marketing. I have to say, part of it, why it was always fun, is that our industry is tremendously, changing. So when I've started, and I mean, now everybody will know how old I am. I mean, basically social media didn't even exist. And, like you would have like TV and print and some outdoor. I mean, in 2 years, you could learn anything there is to know about media planning, for example. And, as you can imagine how the whole industry was developing. And now, as a marketer, you need to understand communication and people, but also technology as well. So all these opportunities to learn and to always develop. Then also working with very with diverse client industries. So for example, finance or fast-moving consumer goods. And I have to say, this gives you really, I mean, if you're a nerd like I am, this gives you such a good insight into how the theory, correlates to practice. Just to give you an example of for example, current COVID situation. So you read the marketing effectiveness studies from the previous crisis, and it's always advocating, you need to invest in communication when the times are tough, and that will pay off in the market share and also value increase. And this is what we have seen, and without any exception in our client portfolio. So basically, whoever last year was, supporting the brand, they have grown, and the other way around. Also, the brands who were silent in the last 2 or 3 years, regardless of crisis. I mean, one of our clients. I'm not saying it's just due to the marketing efforts, but they're leaving the Austrian market. So you see how all that. I mean, all this theory also translates to practice, because you work for. I mean, we in Austria have here as Carat more than 40 active clients. And that's really a great opportunity. And finally, I mean, being a leader and having a young and ambitious team, I think, and that's one of the most, precious and fulfilling parts of my job, is just developing them and seeing how good they are. And let's say in the last couple of months, just really looking at their work and being able to work with them on projects and just getting super impressed and thinking, oh my God, I would have never done it so well. This is one of the biggest pleasures of my current role as well.
Katarina, how do you see your industry developing in the coming years? So where do you see a big change or a shift?
Yes, I mean, all the industries are disrupted. I mean, there is also like the impact of marketing technology, data-driven communications, I mean, there is always a big thing now. It's all about like cookie cutting, how that will, on one side, affect the abilities to address people on like this personalized level. But honestly, I think, good storytelling, know what you kind of are offering and what value can you deliver. Not only, I mean, this is a big shift, not only to a person, but also to society. So this kind of responsibility that brands have to take and also drive social agendas. This is a big paradigm shift in our industry. So it's not, I mean, everybody's talking about this marketing automation. For me, it's really more about, who you as a company or as a brand are, and what do you stand for, and what is your value. And this has to be 100% consistent with how you act and how you communicate. And basically you need to adjust also to the current situation that people are at, and this is what we've seen during the COVID as well.
Coming back to making it in Austria, any challenges, Katarina, that you faced when you moved to Austria here? Anything that you would like to share with us?
Well, it was such an intensive period. So the first 2 years, studying at the same time, and then, having like a job in a new country, a bit of a different role, because it was not the typical, let's say, leadership role like I had in Belgrade. It was more like informal leadership, so strategic role. And, it was all challenging, but I have to say, I didn't, feel that I had to make an effort. And I have to say, and now this will sound like the whole the whole interview is sponsored by Bay Executive Academy, but in reality, I think just
Hi, Barbara.
But just having this part of experience, that was my push and my energy source, because having my network of friends and always in these modules being inspired, hearing something new, that gives you energy also to implement it in your business life, and that was really amazing. So at that point I was not feeling that there are some specific challenges. Now looking back, I would say like just a bit adjusting to the culture, because me as a person, I'm a very performance driven and kind of fast, and what I would say in general, just comparing my company, like in Austria, it's more about like work-life balance, just taking time to make a decision. Then that was something that where I definitely had to adopt and a bit adjust a little bit. Yeah.
We all know that feeling. When you see already what needs to be done in 6 months, and then schau mal, and let's wait, and so on.
Exactly. Especially if you don't, this is also like, guys, don't get lost in translation. When I say lost in translation, it's like really understand the cultural context of the words. So for example, this schau mal, we all know about it. This is something that every friend will tell you first day. But when you're in this situation, you also need to be able to recognize it. So I remember I had a colleague, we worked always on a project together, and I would come to him and say, well, can we take a look at this? And he said, let's see on Monday. So let's see on Monday. I'm coming on Monday. Hi. Are we looking at it now? Let's see on Wednesday. Okay, I'm coming on Wednesday. Hi. So basically he was telling me no all the time, and probably I was annoying him to the bone. Like, she's not giving up. I'm like, what is he doing? Why is he always, procrastinating? So this is it. How do you, kind of understand those codes? But also I have to say it depends across the cultures in general. I remember last year working with our global team in UK, and we all know this typical British, let's have tea sometimes. I would love to have tea with you sometimes. So after really helping me out with some inspiring inputs for the presentation, one of the colleagues, very busy senior global guy, said, Katarina, I would really love to in a week or so take a look at your deck. And I was like, oh, okay. And so I was like, okay, so yeah, let's meet next week. And he was a bit red, like, okay, she's really taking me up on this. So I think, just be kind of aware and put this, what's happening in your conversation in this kind of context, and don't get lost in translation.
Read the room or feel the room and read between the lines.
Exactly.
Katarina, how about networking? So how did you build up your network? Because we all know how important it is when you move to another country to meet people, like-minded people, and grow. So how was your way, and what are you doing nowadays as well?
So yeah, I think, just really, like, it's always a good idea when you move to another country to start studying something. So it can be a language, it can be, also ideally MBA, that helps so much. I really, diverse and again, like-minded people. So that was a great, a great chance for me to be able to do that simultaneously. I think, in one of our webinars, one of the colleagues said, so Alena said, make your colleagues your friends. This is also something that I did, of course, working closely on a project, you get, to know people, and then you also transfer this working relationship in also friendship. But I just have to say, you have to be open. I mean, for me, this is a true story. It also happened, that I was in the supermarket, you speak English, and then a person in front of you, so a very nice girl would say, where are you from? Serbia? What are you doing here? Oh, I'm studying, and working. Oh, where are you studying? Oh, yeah, BUMB. I also did it. I worked in oil power. Okay, let's have coffee sometimes. So, like people just, be open to people. That's super important. And I mean, you also be kind of patient. I mean, you will not have the relationships you build in your, I don't know, 15 years of friendship the same day, but I mean, you're becoming closer every day, and in this kind of different situations, projects or the time will just also help you in building those relationships.
Would you say that you're an extrovert or an introvert?
Well, I think everybody knows that I'm almost extreme extrovert. So I've been said that I'm extroverted introvert. That was interesting. Like, you are so friendly, you can very easily connect with people, but you have a very selected circle of friends, and that's actually true. And we always talk about it. Choose your environment carefully. I think it's important to have your closest circle of people where invest a lot of time and energy. But I think to be honest, it's not difficult for me to I love talking to people. I love learning about themselves, about their lives, and interacting. So it's not very difficult.
I would describe you that as well. So.
I think it's a fair point.
But it's important, as you said, you have to have the circle of people, close circle of people for yourself, and that's for everyone, you be it introvert or extrovert. So super point. Thank you for sharing that. And about mentoring, Katarina, I want to ask you, so what do you think about mentoring? Do you have a mentor? Are you a mentor yourself?
Yes, of course. So, of course, my boss was for years my mentor. My ex-boss was for years my mentor, and also kind of followed his path, in terms of the education and also career. So it's very important to have people who are maybe even different than you in personality or in let's say their experiences, because you can learn a lot from them. Yes, I mean, I think mentor. So being a mentee or mentor, that does not have to be a formal relationship per se. You can reach out to people you admire on different topics, who can be younger than you, or like, that does not have to be a formally structured relationship. I think, of course, if you are, this is my at least personal opinion, as a leader, your most important role is to be a mentor. So this is your actually job. You're only as good as how much you can uplift your team, and this is your primary responsibility. So it kind of comes with the job, but I think it also comes with the personality. So if you are having this kind of a personality that you like to share with people, like kind of some people I know here in the conversation, I think you kind of that comes natural. And I think what also you are doing with the Female Leader Network, and also now with making it in Austria, I think when you have something to share, you also have the responsibility to mentor others and to inspire others. So yeah, this is very important. So it's kind of not anymore a choice; it's almost a duty.
One of my guests, Kambis, told me that he meets so many people, as you said, informal. It doesn't have to be always structured. And the formal one, he said, I learn from everyone who I meet. I will get, tips, advice, contacts, recommendations, and so on and so forth, and vice versa. So it's like, if you are in this kind of circle like you and I, so you meet like really people who are ambitious, who are driven. You can learn from everyone that you surround yourself, even in 5 minutes chat, 5-10 minutes chats.
Absolutely. And it happens so many times, that's why I also love our network events. You just, and people are so generous to share, so even if you would share a challenge that you were facing the other day, they would just say, oh yeah, there is this platform or this workshop, or, and that's really wonderful.
Yeah. Katarina, before we wrap up and I ask you what you read, I would like to know what would be your tips for people who are considering to move to Austria?
Mhm. So, well, for the first thing is please move somewhere, anywhere. Just go somewhere for a year. You don't have to immigrate. You don't have to be an expat. I mean, I almost, you know, I think just go for half a year, do some exchange because that is such an enriching experience. It's a great opportunity for personal growth, great opportunity for career advancement. Also, you will meet amazing people. So just please do that. So this is not kind of like tips and tricks how when you're here. It's really just please do it. My warmest recommendation. When it comes to the tips and tricks, I think the first thing is we always talk about it, and this applies not only to moving abroad. This applies to just joining a company, organization, choosing your friends. So choose your environment carefully. This is something that I'm telling myself every day, and I'm telling everybody I know and I care for, because in every environment where you can be your best self, where you can be your diverse self, and when you have people who share the similar values but allow you to be unique, these are the right environments. So by no means, and for God's sake, don't stick around if you're asked to be something you're not. And talking about my experience of moving to Austria, so I remember like the kind of first months or so I tried to be a bit more quiet and just kind of tone down my energy. And I remember my boss would come to me one day and said, I have to ask you something. Is everything fine with you? And I'm like, yes. Why? Yeah, you're not yourself. What do you mean? I mean, where is your energy? Where like, and this is it, when you have a person who actually is asking you to be yourself, that's a good place to be. That's the right environment. So you also, another friend, he was applying for a job. He's a very experienced also MBA alumni. And he told me, like, I didn't get it. I got the feedback, I was too international. Well, I said, well, that was not that anyway an environment for you. Then after a couple of days, he got even a better job. And the feedback was, we actually need you because you're international. So, there will be opportunities, there will be chances in environments where you will fit in and where they will ask for exactly things that you have to offer. And just don't stick around in places where, you're not allowed to be yourself. So this is a really, really a very, strong advice that I have to give. The second one, choose your diversity as a competitive advantage. And, Adela, we all know your story also. So, being a woman in tech, that is definitely something that will, make you stick out from the crowd. Yes, so there are many things that you're also bringing from your home country, from all your experience, maybe other countries where you live in. So use that as your competitive advantage. And the third thing definitely is stay connected to people and places. So I have to say, there are so many amazing things about moving around and living in different countries, but there are, of course, also some disadvantages. So first, there are questions about identity. There is also a question, where is home? And, it's not always so easy to keep your relationships with people that matter to you. So by all means, please do that. And by all means, please visit the places where you lived. Please stay connected to the people that matter, and to make a deliberate effort around that as well.
We agree on that note. To move abroad. So I sometimes talk to students, and one of the things that I tell them, if there's one thing, if I would be a prime minister or someone responsible, so I would send them all. So it would be a must to go during your bachelor's and during your master's to go at least one semester abroad, because it will change you, it will enrich you, you will not be the same, and you will bring so much back to whatever you are. If you decide to go back to your home country, you will bring so much with you that you will enrich your life. Your life will actually not be the same. And that is one tip to all the students. If you can, grab the opportunity and go abroad for 1 or 2 semesters. It's just unique opportunity. And especially when you are young, you want to see, you want to experience, you want to be immersed in with people from 10 countries in one room. Yeah, definitely a must.
That's amazing,
Especially
and
this.
it's not I mean, you don't have to like never come back. You can always, just do that and try it, really.
Absolutely. Katarina, thank you so much for spending this afternoon with us. Before we wrap up, I wanted to ask you what you read and or what is the book that you would like to recommend to our audience.
So, okay, a few points on that. I'm currently reading Originals by Adam Grant. So it's about creativity, basically, how to come up with extraordinary ideas, how to choose and recognize them, how to pitch them. Really fun. I love Adam Grant anyway, and I could recommend Give and Take also by him. My favorite book is Malcolm Gladwell, Outliers. And, it's all about like hard work and luck. That's kind of also my mantra and something I really, really strongly believe in. It's also a fun book. It's a great style of writing. It's captivating. You will read it like, I don't know, in one day. But on this topic, when we started talking about, making it in Austria and in our interview, I revisited two books that are kind of connected to the topic. And one of them is Global Cosmopolitans by Linda Brim. And she's INSEAD professor and psychologist. And she has introduced this kind of notion of global cosmopolitans. It's basically a new breed of professionals who have lived abroad, speak several languages, have several passports, and they have a critical role in the big global corporations and in the whole globalization process. And also where she's kind of reflecting on their struggles and identity, and kind of maintaining relationships with people and with places. And she also has a nice, I would have to say, workbook with some questions which could kind of be helpful. So I would recommend this book. It's a good one. And another one, which is When Cultures Collide. And I'm mentioning it for a different reason. So this is really a huge book I have on my bookshelf at home. I think I bought it in a Belgrade library. And the fun thing is it really has a lot of good things. Like it has, all these kind of cultural dimensions, all this theoretical framework that helps a lot, but also there is a practical guide on how do you conduct negotiations or some tips on specific cultures. And you will probably laugh, Adela, because I will give you examples. So one thing, like, okay, people in Serbia are late. I think that's something that we can all kind of recognize. That's not a big surprise, but also like I was shocked to read that by no means say to a person from Serbia that you have friends from Croatia, Slovenia, or Turkey. And I was like, okay, I mean, honestly, I can definitely not relate to that or even know anybody who would just be offended by that. And then what we do, usually, my friends, like international group of people, come to my place whenever reading this book. I said, please just read about your country and tell me what you think. And I had a friend over from Kazakhstan, and she said, what? I mean, there was like, good topic to talk during negotiations is about horses. Horses are a good topic. And she was like, no, we eat horse meat. But I mean, like, I don't know what they mean. So I just wanted to say, there are these kind of, like, there are many books, I don't know, Xenophobe Guide to Austrians or whatever. It's all fun. It's good. It can give you a bit of a good context, but please just understand there are a lot of biases and stereotypes. So, kind of be aware of it and then just take it with a pinch of salt.
Thank you, Katarina. I'm still thinking about that Kazakhstan example.
I mean, talk about horses. I mean, imagine if you just take it to the
having a business.
Yeah, really. So yeah, but just maybe making it a bit more extreme. But one way to kind of break the prejudice and biases is also to travel, and also to present your country as well in a good way to show other people, that kind of give exposure to your culture as well. Adela, we talked about it. Bring them to your home country maybe, and I think what you're doing here, and that's why I really appreciate and think you're one of the very inspiring young leaders, is that you give this opportunity for people to get inspired, to move a little bit and share the stories that kind of show that and break all this kind of stereotypes as well.
Thank you, Katarina. Thank you for the compliments. Happy to do that. It's one of the things that I do with lots of love and lots of joy, because I have, first of all, I can be very selfish and say I get to know all of you. And I get to listen to all of your stories. So that's the selfish note in in the making it in Austria, and then have the opportunity to connect you with all the other people that you will see are in the community, and they have very much they're very driven, they're ambitious, and as well, so they have humble beginnings. This is very important to acknowledge, that they come from different backgrounds, and sometimes very, very humble ones, small, but they made their ways, and they never forgot, where they're coming, and they never forgot about, their communities, and giving back and serving, and that's leadership for me. So that's 21st century, and this is the people that I want to surround myself with. So thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you as well, Adela. It was a great pleasure.
And thank you to all our viewers for listening us today. I hope you enjoyed. I'm looking forward to read all of your comments. If you like this video, so subscribe, share, like. And if you have anyone that you would like me to interview, please drop a comment here or send me a LinkedIn message. I'm always looking for inspiring people, and I'm really excited to welcome more of them on this YouTube channel. So have a lovely day. Thank you, Katarina, and we talk very soon.